Are you guys familiar with Amanda Seales? Some of you may look at her face and immediately recognize her from HBO's Insecure, where for the last few seasons she has played Issa Rae's stuffy, bougie friend, Tiffany Dubois. But she actually has a very extensive resume. Okay, she's been in the business since she was a kid. Some people might remember her, and let's go way back when she played on Nickelodeon's My Brother and Me. Okay, she was also an MTV VJ. She was known as Amanda Diva for years. And what a lot of people don't know about her is that she was one half of Floetry. One of the members of Floetry left, and she took over that member's spot. Now, don't quote me. I don't remember if it was Marsha Ambrose. I don't remember. But she was on Floetry. She was a part of Floetry at one point or another. So like I said, she has an extensive resume. She also has basically a traveling comedy show called Smart, Funny, and Black. A few of my friends actually went to see her when they were here in Chicago, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. But Tiffany is also Tiffany. I'm thinking of her and her character. Amanda is also known for her opinionated diatribes that she has on Instagram every few days. Okay, she is best known for always injecting herself into certain conversations. She used to have these IG story gems. I don't really listen to her as much as I used to, but there was a time where I always listened. But then I started to tune out because it just seemed a little too self-righteous for me at times. So recently, Hollywood, they had the Emmys. And she went to a Black Emmy party and she was kicked out of the Emmy party. And in usual Amanda Seales fashion, she had to take to Instagram to let us know what happened. Listen to this, y'all.
For the record, I am being denied entrance to the Black People's Emmy party. And it's a white woman telling me I can't go in. I just want to put this on record that I'm literally being told you cannot get entrance into a party that Jesse Williams invited me to, that is the only Black event for the Emmy weekend, because a white woman is telling me I can't get in. But I'm fine.
So this is security escorting me out of the Black Emmy party. That's what's happening. I am not being granted entrance to the Black Emmy party in Hollywood. This is Jay. This is security, and I am being escorted out of the Black Emmy party.
This is just to remind y'all that, like, it really doesn't matter, like, how hard you work or how good of a person you are. Like, you just gonna be in some bullshit. Like, the fact that, like, I literally was humiliated just now because 4 security guards were asked to come and remove me from a party that is supposed to honor Black people at the Emmys. And it was a white woman named Kiara who made it her business to do this. It's just, ooh, I'm not gonna cry though. I'm not gonna cry.
Now, some of you are probably wondering to yourself, why is this even news? It really shouldn't be, should it? But what it is doing since that happened is that a lot of people feel like Amanda Seales is exposing herself, and she's being exposed for being someone who is not that nice. Now, what makes this juicy, okay, not so much the fact that she got kicked out. I'm sure that was hella embarrassing. But who kicked her out of the party? Now, I'm going to go ahead. She actually has a podcast on Spotify. It's called Small Doses. And on her last episode, she actually talks about this incident where she got kicked out of the party. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys listen in, and you're going to hear why I actually think this is actually interesting. And it speaks to maybe the future of Insecure too. So go ahead and listen to this.
So on Emmy weekend, it's very common that they have a number of parties throughout Los Angeles. And a lot of the parties are, of course, like kind of stuffy. there's a certain level of quote unquote professionalism that's taking place at the parties, because it's a lot of like just industry people that you work with. And for the black folks who of course are often overlooked at the actual Emmys, there really is kind of like this idea that we really don't get to like party like how we party culturally. So a year ago, Issa Rae's publicist Vanessa Anderson of AMPR and some other people, they started doing a Black Emmy party. So it's basically like to celebrate like Black Hollywood and, just give us a space to come and celebrate after we do the hobnob at like the HBO party, the Comedy Central party, et cetera, et cetera. So when I arrived at the party last year, I came with Jill Scott, and of course, I work with Issa. So Vanessa is somebody who I have absolutely like met before, like when I had my web series on Issa's channel on YouTube, and I have interacted with her, on a few occasions, but she has never been nice to me ever. Like she's always had a certain like curtness, and she's always seemed to be bothered simply by just like my demeanor, my way of communicating with her, etc. And at a certain point, it just became, well, then this is just not somebody I need to speak to, because I don't work for her and she doesn't work for me, and there's no reason for us to even interact for all intents and purposes. So we don't. I say hello to her like if I see her, but there's not going to be any like back and forth exchange. We are not friends. So last year when I got to the party, I showed up with Jill Scott, and when I came with Jill, she said, oh, like, let me have my manager go to the front, just to make everything smoother. So her manager went to the front, and Vanessa was at the front, and her manager, like, pointed back towards us. And when I was there, I looked at Vanessa and just kind of surreptitiously pointed toward Jill, like, look who I'm, with, because there was a bunch of people outside, too. And she just exclaimed, Amanda, nobody has time for this right now. I do not have time for this. And it was like, what's happening? So everybody like looked around because I hadn't said anything. So it was very weird. Like it was just out the blue that this person was having such like a visceral reaction. So I just was like, I don't know what's going on. And so Jill's manager was like, what the hell was that about? He was like, come on. So we just like went in the party, and that was that. And I went in the party, and I told Issa, I was like, hey, your publicist, like she's just not being nice. Like she's just nasty. And I don't even need her to be kind. I don't need her kindness, but just have a certain layer of civility with me, And Issa was like, yeah, I mean, that's just between y'all, because it's her party. So it's not really like my jurisdiction to tell her how to treat you at her party. Okay. So I left it at that. This year, Jesse Williams had invited me to the party, and anyone who knows me knows that I don't even like none of this party shit, but I love a celebration of blackness. And so when I was at the HBO party, I was telling everybody about this party. Like, we have somewhere where we can go celebrate after this. So I'm like telling Niecy Nash, and I'm telling Sherry Shepherd, and, just like everybody I'm running into. Kendrick, who's also on Insecure. Who else? Brisha Webb, Gabrielle Dennis, like just spreading the word. So me and Kendrick get to the party alongside my friend Kiki, who is not in the industry. When we get to the party, the girl at the door asks for Kendrick's name, and he has a +1, so I'm his +1, and then she asks for Kiki's name, and Kiki's like telling her name, and she just writes it in her phone and is like, okay. So we're about to walk in, and then a white woman who has a clipboard, who had not been at the rope but was in the front area, all of a sudden turns around and points at me and says, no, she cannot go in. She's not on the list. She's not on the list. Now, I had seen Vanessa come outside to the front and have a conversation with her, but I didn't think anything of it. I mean, it is Vanessa's party. Why wouldn't she come and speak to the person at the door? But it was interesting that this was happening because it seemed like an echo of the year before. And so Kendrick was like, I don't understand. And this girl was like, no, she cannot come in. She is not on the list. She is not on the list. And the security guards were like, yeah, I don't know what that's about. And they were like, no. So Kendrick was like, let me go find Vanessa. So he leaves. I'm there for 10 minutes, and I'm like, you know what, Kiki, let's roll. So we about to leave, and we go stand outside by the curb to wait for my car. And this other guy comes up, Janet Jackson's manager, and he's like, hey, what are you doing out here? And I was like, they won't let us into the party. He's like, what? That's crazy. I got you. So he comes and takes us to the rope, and he's like, this is Amanda Seales. And the girl's like, no, she's not on the list. She's not on the list. And he's like, but what? I mean, can we put her on the list? Like, she should be in here. She is what this is about. And I thank Joey for even extending himself to that. And she was just adamant. So then Elijah Kelly comes out, and Elijah Kelly is like, yo, why are you out here? And I'm like, because they're not letting me in. And at this point, I've already Instagrammed the fact that, like, a white woman is at the door preventing me from getting into the Black Emmy party. But, what is going on? And now I'm starting to get, like, irritated by it, because I'm like, this is just foolish. Like, I'm clearly being targeted here, and I don't know why. Like, what is the actual reason behind this? And so what ends up happening is Elijah's like, you know what? They're not going to kick me out of the party, so come on in. So he welcomes me in. And as I'm coming in, the white girl is like, her name is Kiera. She's like, she cannot go in. She cannot go in. And I was like, girl, stop. And I just wave her off, and I kept walking. So I walk in, and I go to the bar. Kiki goes to the bathroom. By the time Kiki has come back from the bathroom, a security guard is talking to me. And a security guard says to me, hello, miss. We have been asked to escort you out. I've been asked to escort you out. I'm like, well, who asked you to escort me out? And he said, let me find out. So he gets on his phone and he says, Vanessa. I said, well, then you need to find Vanessa. Because I need to speak to Vanessa, and I need to find out from Vanessa why I'm being escorted out. And apparently no one could find Vanessa. So Elijah comes over and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, they're escorting me out. So now he's trying to find Vanessa. Jay August comes over and is like, what's going on? I'm saying, they're escorting me out. He's like, let me go find Vanessa, because I was sitting at the Insecure table. So there's a table for Insecure that apparently Natasha is at, and Yvonne is at, and Kendrick is at, but I'm not being allowed into the party because I'm not on the list. So there's a table for the show that I am an actual series regular and a star of, but I am not allowed into the party.
So I'm going to stop it there. And it's interesting to me how this is playing out. And I want to know if you think that Amanda is just too full of herself. Now, on one hand, I get what she's saying, right? There's a Black Emmy party. It's not like there's a lot of them. There's an Insecure table. Yet, I can't be at this party. But on the other hand, I'm listening to her say she don't even rock with Issa Rae's publicist. She don't like her. She thinks she's mean. They don't even talk. And yet you expect this woman to extend an invitation to you, but you don't like her. And she said she don't like you. So why would she invite you to the party? Now, it seemed like it would be the professional thing to do, but obviously no. So when all this came out, one of her co-stars, you might remember this guy right here. He was actually Molly. He was screwing Molly. He was married. Remember, he says, you can't be a disrespectful ass human being and expect people to want to hang with you. So when Amanda Seales' podcast came out, he tweeted this out and says basically she's a mean girl. She's a disrespectful, rude, mean girl, and you can't expect people want to hang around with you if that's how you act. And so once this went viral, a lot of people actually started to come out and call Amanda Seales out on some of her problematic behavior. Now, one of the questions I had, once this hit, her podcast hit the internet, I kept thinking to myself, it's very telling to me that Issa Rae's publicist wouldn't let you into a party. Remember, Issa Rae's publicist, you are on Insecure with Issa Rae, and at least Issa Rae is saying, well, you got to take it up with her. I'm not in it. Y'all gonna have to do something about that. Then after that, this comedian put Amanda Seales on blast the other day when he said that she is a bitter, toxic woman who got ran out of New York City for her attitude. She moved to LA and changed nothing. And I befriended her when she came. And she said I faked my cancer. So I was actually reading his thread when he put it out on Twitter. I think it was yesterday. You can check the date here. I can't see. and put it out on Twitter. And he said that he's a comedian, and she went around saying that he didn't have cancer and was telling everybody that he was faking. So he's calling her out for her toxic behavior. Now, this is not the first time Amanda Seales has been called out for some of her BS. You might remember a few months ago when she went on to the Breakfast Club and she basically tried to out this former NFL player turned neurosurgeon Myron Rolle. You might remember that interview where she basically tried to Me Too him. And she said that he came to the door for one of her friends. Let me start again. They was trying to talk. They was kind of talking, DMing each other. And he said, oh, when you gonna come see me? She was turned off by that. She really didn't want to talk to him anymore. He ended up dating somebody else. And the man allegedly came to the door of the hotel when the woman came to see him. He was naked, or he was like in a towel or something like that. And Amanda Seales didn't say his name, but she kept hinting at all these different things that led people to know that it was him. And then when he came out and basically put her on blast, she seemed a little contrite, like she didn't really want to like take it back. And remember, no woman ever came out and said that this actually happened, but she damn near almost ruined this man's career. Remember, he left the NFL to become a neurosurgeon. He's now actually has a residency, I believe, at Harvard. And he left the NFL to become a neurosurgeon, and she damn near ruined his career by trying to Me Too him. And then really didn't apologize and really didn't take it back. Myron said she was just mad because he didn't like her and he really wasn't feeling her like that. And so she tried to attempt to Me Too him. So Amanda has had some very problematic behaviors. She has. But like I said, it's very telling to me that Issa Rae didn't take up for her in that moment. And I hope that it doesn't affect the working relationship on Insecure. But again, this is Issa Rae's publicist that kicked her out of a party. Issa Rae's publicist, you know, she's always around Issa Rae, I'm sure even on the set of Insecure. So I wonder how this is going to play out. And then furthermore, her co-star called her out for being disrespectful. He is also a cast member of Insecure. So I'm wondering if this is going to affect the working relationship with all of them, especially Issa Rae. And how much longer are we going to get Tiffany Dubois? You know, I always look at Amanda Seales as that friend. We all know somebody like that. That friend that you have to like let people know how she is before they meet her. Because if you don't let them know how this person is before they meet them, people going to automatically start rolling their eyes. So you have to warn other people about this friend before they show up to the party. She seems like that type of person. Always got something to say, always opinionated. Nothing wrong with being opinionated, but it's just that she is so pompous about it. And she just always thinks she's right. And she always thinks that you have to agree with her. And people are starting to call her out on it. I honestly think it's her. I don't think it's everybody around her. I think it's her. And furthermore, if you came to a party and you were Jesse Williams +1, why didn't Jesse Williams come and vouch for you? All right. And who should, if you don't like me, why should I let you into my party? You have made it plainly clear that you don't rock with me. Why do you think you should be at my party? I'm just wondering. So I just want to know what you guys think about Amanda Seales. Do you know her? Have you seen her on Instagram? Because I do honestly think that she's a bit problematic. That's just my opinion.